They mocked humanity's weakness. She executed the entire squad before anyone blinked. The Zephyrian command center hummed with the low vibration of alien technology, its crystalline walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that served as both communication and intimidation. Commander Vexthul stood before the massive tactical display, his forearms gesticulating as he addressed the assembled war council. The humans, he clicked in his native tongue, mandibles spreading in what passed for a grin among his species, continued to amuse us with their pathetic resistance. The other council members, a mix of Zephyrians, the insectoid Krixtal, and the amphibious Mordan, responded with their various expressions of derision. To them, humanity was nothing more than a pest species that had somehow stumbled into space travel before natural selection could properly cull their weakness. Their physical limitations are laughable, added General Krixtal Hive Queen Zaxth, her compound eyes glittering with malice. No natural weapons, no exoskeleton, no venom. They require artificial aids for everything, even breathing in space. And their emotional instability, chimed in Admiral Mordan Gulthresh, his gill slits fluttering with what might have been laughter. They form attachments to individuals rather than serving the collective. Such inefficiency. The tactical display showed the current siege of Terra Station, humanity's last major stronghold in the Proxima sector. For 3 standard cycles, the combined Galactic Supremacy Alliance had maintained their blockade, slowly starving the station of resources while broadcasting demands for unconditional surrender. Perhaps, Vexthul mused, we should examine one of these creatures more closely. Our xenobiology department has been requesting live specimens. The blast doors to the command center suddenly hissed open with a sound that shouldn't have been possible. They were locked down under maximum security protocols. The alien commanders turned as one, expecting to see their own guards or perhaps a maintenance drone. Instead, a single human female walked through the doorway. She appeared unremarkable by human standards, average height, lean build, wearing what looked like a standard Terran Defense Force uniform. Her dark hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail, and her brown eyes held an expression of calm focus that seemed almost meditative. Impossible, Vexthul snarled, reaching for his plasma sidearm. How did you? The human raised her hand, and the alien commander's words died in his throat, not because he chose to stop speaking, but because his vocal cords had been severed by a monomolecular filament that had somehow appeared in the space between them and vanished just as quickly. The other commanders moved with the lightning reflexes that had made their species apex predators on their respective worlds. General Zaxth's forearms blurred toward her weapons while Admiral Gulthresh began the rapid color shift that would activate his species' natural camouflage. They never completed their actions. The human, Lieutenant Sarah Chen, according to her uniform, moved in a way that defied their understanding of physics. She wasn't fast in the conventional sense, rather, she seemed to exist in the spaces between moments, occupying positions that allowed her to be exactly where she needed, to be when she needed to be there. Zaxth's compound eyes registered the human's position at the doorway. In the next microsecond, those same eyes detected her presence directly in front of the Krixtal general. There was no blur of motion, no transition, simply a quantum shift from one state to another. The vibroblade that materialized in Chen's hand completed its arc through Zaxth's carapace before the insectoid could process what was happening. Green ichor sprayed across the crystalline walls as the general's upper torso separated from her lower segments. Admiral Gulthresh had nearly completed his camouflage transition when Chen appeared beside him. The Mordan's advantage lay in his ability to become nearly invisible, but Chen moved as if she could see through any deception. Her second blade, when had she drawn a second blade, found the precise gap in his natural armor that would sever his central nervous system. The remaining 2 council members, a junior Zephyrian officer and a Krixtal tactical specialist, barely had time to register their commanders' deaths before Chen completed her circuit of the room. Her movements were economical, precise, and utterly without waste. Each strike targeted exactly the right point to ensure instant death, not from cruelty, but from efficiency. The entire engagement lasted 2.3 seconds. Chen stood in the center of the command chamber, surrounded by the corpses of beings who had considered humanity too weak to pose a threat. Her breathing remained steady, her pulse unchanged. The weapons in her hands dissolved back into their molecular components, absorbed by the programmable matter of her uniform. "Command, this is Chen," she spoke into her comm unit with the same calm tone one might use to order coffee. "Objective complete. Zephyrian command structure eliminated." The response crackled through immediately. "Copy that, Chen. How many casualties on your end?" "0. Outstanding. Proceed to Phase 2. Chen walked to the tactical display, her fingers dancing, across controls designed for alien appendages but easily adapted to human dexterity. The siege of Terra Station dissolved as she transmitted new orders to the Alliance fleet, orders that appeared to come from their own command structure. As the alien ships began withdrawing in confusion, Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Alliance had made a fundamental error in their assessment of humanity. They had measured human strength against their own physical capabilities and found it wanting. But they had failed to account for the one thing that made humans truly dangerous in the galaxy: their ability to adapt. The genetic modifications that allowed Chen to move between quantum states were invisible to standard scans. The programmable, matter technology that could become any tool or weapon was beyond current Alliance understanding. Most importantly, the tactical innovation that had led to this moment, the realization that removing enemy command structures was more efficient than traditional warfare, was purely human in its elegant simplicity. The other species fought with brute force, biological advantages, or technological superiority. Humans fought with something far more dangerous: intelligence applied without restraint. Chen activated the station's communication array and broadcast on all Alliance frequencies. "This is Lieutenant Sarah Chen of the Terran Defense Force. Your leadership has been terminated. Any ships that remain in human space after this transmission will be considered hostile and dealt with accordingly. You have 1 standard hour to begin your withdrawal." As she watched the alien fleet's hasty retreat on the tactical display, Chen reflected on the irony. The Alliance had been correct about human physical weakness. They simply hadn't understood that evolution had compensated by making humans the most dangerous problem solvers in the known galaxy. By the time anyone realized what had happened, humanity would be ready for their next move. After all, humans had always been exceptional at learning from their mistakes. The aliens were about to discover they wouldn't get a second chance to make any.